There was a lot of fear-mongering, misinformation in that Trump ad attacking Vice President Harris on immigration. How do you think she's responding to those misleading claims?
Well, the fun way to counteract misinformation is with information and with truth. And everything that you chronicled is exactly right. We recognize that there is an issue at the border. We recognize that there's also an issue of undocumented folks within the border. And what Kamala Harris, the vice president, has done successfully is recognize that there are two issues right now. One is, how do you address the root causes of migration? Well, the reason that many folks are coming to the United States is because they're economic refugees. They don't have jobs. They don't have safety at home. So she worked with corporations and invested billions in the Northern Triangle to ensure that they're building not only infrastructure, but providing jobs, providing a reason for folks to stay home, not to create that dangerous journey, while at the same time beefing up security at the border. And then there's the other part of the issue. One of the reasons we started in these immigration debates, and people forget, Jonathan, was because we experienced 11 million people that have been living here for a very long time, often decades, living in the shadows. So one of the things that we've been able to negotiate at Voto Latino with the administration, with the vice president, was not so long ago, we secured visas for those spouses that are undocumented, that are married to U.S. citizens. That grandfathered roughly 1 million people to come out of the shadows who've been living in this country for over 20 years, who have American children, who are part of our community. And so when Donald Trump is trying to peddle this fear-mongering, what we're able to actually see through the administration, through the vice president, is actual policy to address the issues, not to come up with some bogus claim that you care about the border and then walk away from a deal like they did, not once, but twice, because Donald Trump told Congress that he didn't want a deal because he knew that it was good for his reelection. And now the problem is that he actually has to compete against facts.
You know, the Harris campaign reminded voters in a statement that, quote, the only plan Donald Trump has to secure our border is ripping mothers from their children and a few xenophobic placards at the Republican National Convention. How relevant are Trump's cruel border policies and rhetoric with Hispanic voters in 2024, many of whom are second and third generation?
Well, here's the thing. When you are talking about mass deportation, you're talking about racial profiling. It doesn't matter how many decades and how many generations you've been here. If you're signaling to people's neighbors and to law enforcement that you could be racially profiled just based on the color of your skin. That was one of the reasons why when you saw family separation sweeping all of southern Texas, why so many Texans, so many Arizonans were so afraid, because law enforcement was racially targeting Americans who happened to look Hispanic. And that's the beef so many people have with mass deportation, among other things. And get this, imagine being, what folks in the U.S. don't understand, if you were to look at the largest cohort of American children today in classrooms, Jonathan, they're multiracial, they're biracial. So imagine being a white father with an Asian presenting son who's American, being asked by their teacher if they're American. That's the license that Donald Trump wants to grant across the board, is bigotry at scale, where even our children who are American all of a sudden getting singled out. That's not good policy. That's also very anti-American.